Gentlemen, with the team sale now official, I am proud to welcome our very own CFO, Christopher Stanfront, into the conference room for the very first time. Guys.
Wow. This is what the conference room looks like. I made it before Elgin Baylor.
With Sterling's departure, we have found that there are some inefficiencies in our staff, and I think we all know that that's going to mean cutbacks.
Essentially, we're looking at laying off anyone with the title Urban Wrangler.
Yes. Oh, very good. Then it's settled. Do you have anything to add, Mr. Balmer?
Whoa! This is extremely disappointing! Whoa! And it saddens me deeply! Whoa! But this is part of business! Whoa! Whoa!
Eloquently put, as always. Moving forward, I think we should talk about who is going to be supplying food and beverages for the team.
Whoa! Private jet for everyone! The box score starts now! Whoa!
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you, because I probably am.
Howard Coward for box score!
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, be in the bar all week, and I'm joined, as I am every day, by the Danettes out in Milford, Connecticut. Steve Ballmer, very inspiring in the boardroom there. Holly, also very inspiring that Dan drug himself into work with his one good arm after almost cutting his hand off with a can of Alpo. Real number, how many stitches did he actually get?
I think it was 5, but you know, Seaton's got a point, man. He talks about his injuries a lot, and he cut his thumb, and when he said it to me last night, I just said, damn, like, wow, that looks pretty painful. But, hey, man, gotta get to work.
Well, whether cut or not, Dan always comes into play, and he came in dishing out challenges right off the bat.
Over, under, 7 out of 10 free throws, left-handed.
I'm gonna set it at 6.5.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So we can make some wagers here. Yes, he.
I got the under.
You do. Oh wow.
That's a pretty big cut that you got there. Can't just start popping
How
shots.
about
after
I
that.
play you? You're left-handed.
I am. I only go left.
You against me for $50.
Wow. I wasn't expecting to be challenged. I was merely putting in my 2 cents. The bar was set at 6.5 as far as the odds, and I thought he would have maybe 5 or 6 shots. Next thing I know, he's calling me out, and we're having a contest.
And you
best
passed
out
on
of
a
10 from free
$50 bet that you would have won.
Yeah, I didn't know if that bet was still on, but initially.
Well, you never agreed to it.
No, I initially thought we were going to have a one-on-one game, but then I started feeling a lot better watching Dan. He missed, I guess, 8 of the 10. I started out slow, but finished off nice at the end, and I, got 5 out of 10. But it's nothing to brag about. The guy's, using a bad arm. He's got 4 or 5 stitches.
He's got a bad shoulder. He's got a bad hand. He's got 2 bad knees, a bad back.
So
What's good?
I barely got 5 out of the 10, and I had no issues like that. So it's not something I could really brag too much about.
Paulie, you set the Vegas money line at 6.5 on that. Who was your money on going into that?
Not on Dan, because I didn't realize it at the time, but when you can't use your guide hand either. When you shoot free throws, you have to have your guide hand to shoot proper free throws, and he couldn't really use his right hand to guide it, and that threw him way off.
Seaton, you were pretty hard on him. You were saying less than 6.5. Is this, was he being sort of soft on this cut? I mean, you're a skateboard guy.
Oh, he's being super soft on his cut. I mean, granted, I've never gotten stitches before, so I don't know how badly that hurt.
Never? You've never gotten stitches?
I've never gotten
Not 1 stitch.
That's amazing.
No. One time I cut open, a kid elbowed me in the face, and my teeth went through right up here. And I came home and I had this gigantic, big fat lip. And I was like, Dad, I think I have to go to the hospital. I'm all bleeding or whatever. And he's like, yeah, looks like you're cut there. And went back to reading the paper. So that's probably the only time I should have gotten stitches, and that just didn't really happen. It was allowed to close naturally. But Dan's being a little soft. There's no doubt about that.
Room poll, who has had the most stitches?
Oh, I got 5 at the back of the head, 5 right here in the head, a couple down here, 2 here, and 5 on the knee. So I'm guessing
that's a good 20.
20, probably 20 total.
Yeah, I had 12 stitches in my left wrist picking up a weight when I was a kid, and I dropped it with a glass table behind me. The glass table cut in half. Glass went all over the place, and I was pretty much gushing all down my arm. Various intestinal surgeries. I'm sure there's a lot of
internal stitches count.
There. So if you add up the internal and external stitches plus the wrist, a couple of leg injuries, I'm definitely up there. Not something I want to win, but many stitches have been involved to close me up.
Yeah, I have about 10 over the eyebrow. I have 6 on the lip that I got during the course of the show. But the biggest injury of all, Allison Turner, 5th grade.
Joke from Jaws.
Can I go back to something? You got 6 stitches in your lip during the course of the show. I don't remember seeing those.
Yeah, remember when I had that fat lip? I went to the picture at the wedding.
No.
It was a basketball injury.
And they stitched up your butt. Where? I don't even see it. Oh, on your lip?
Buddy, how do none of us remember that?
I'm pretty good at catching stuff like that. And if you walked in with 6 stitches in your lip,
No, they're inside my mouth. They're inside my mouth. Hey. You guys don't remember this? The basketball injury? I milked this for about a year. It was right.
I remember you getting elbowed playing basketball, but I don't remember a stitch situation.
I'll bet you I can find documented evidence. I'm gonna go back to the archives. Do we have archives of the show? Has anybody been recording all this stuff?
No, they've
we've been doing for 6 or 7 years here?
You would think.
Yeah. Hey, you know what it is, Paulie? I don't whine and complain when I need stitches.
That's
fair.
what it is.
That's fair.
Let's see, I got 2 in the finger, a couple in the chin, and then scrotal hernia. I didn't count those, but there was a lot of shading going on.
Oh, it's compared to what? A hernia on your elbow there? That kind of what other kind of hernias are there, dude?
There is the hiatal hernia. The hiatal hernia that comes out of the abdomen.
Oh.
You should. Well, I mean, you're very observant when it comes to medical needs, and you actually went to the box today to talk about it.
Speaking of scrotum.
Yep, it's that time of year. Dan Patrick injury time. Every day he comes in with some boo-boo. It's like worse than my 2 daughters. I hope he didn't hear that. It's like, oh, I hurt my thumb. Oh, I need shoulder surgery. Oh, I have a sports hernia. Oh, dude, just toughen up. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Every day it's a new something. It's like he's become the Fritzy of our show. He's a new Fritzy.
It's nice to have a little company there on the Rip Dan for being so soft bandwagon, because that's really been one of my favorite bits that I've had going for a while now. The baby crying sound effect and just like, him even his spin class and whatever. I like making fun of Dan. It's probably my favorite thing to do on the show right now. And have McLovin just dive in both feet. I loved it.
I have to pay full credit to Seton here. I think it's the funniest thing. Like, he'll play the world's smallest violin when Dan is complaining about like a major surgery.
Yeah, I know.
But Seton's really the king. He's out of all of us, he's the one who'll rip Dan the most.
He gets away with it the most.
Yeah, he gets away with it because it's funny. So I saw that when I went in there, and I don't know if I got away with it as much.
Well, Dan wants you all to know what sort of pain he's playing through. And here it is, Boss's thoughts. Get out the violins.
I should have a sling right now for this thumb that's been surgically repaired, but I had the shoulder cut on last year, so imagine having a shoulder cut on the same arm with the thumb that's been surgically repaired. And then it's hard I can't lean on this knee because I've had that cut on 5 times. So I'm leaning on my right knee, trying to brace it here. But hey, all I know is you just show up, the red light comes on, and then I go. Then I work, and then I perform. That's what it's all about. Nobody cares about the labor pains, they just want to see the baby. Well, they're the babies going, wah! Not me. #warrior.
Unbelievable. I mean, the funny thing is, it's all true. The guy does have a lot of medical work done. Like, he'll basically it's always at the end of the football season, too. He'll hand the Lombardi trophy to the game-winning quarterback, then walk off, wave, go right in, they'll have a gurney waiting for him, plop him on there, knock him out, and perform like 4 surgeries in one.
Procedure has to be done.
Yeah.
You can't do Boss's thoughts where you're talking about how you just play through injury and don't make a big deal of it, but then list all the injuries you've had.
And a cut thumb becomes a sling has to be involved. I don't know what's going on there, but it did seem overly dramatic.
But I will say this. I think we can all agree. Dan does push rather hard. I mean, how many red eyes does he have in this 3-week period?
Yeah.
It's not exactly like he takes it easy on himself.
Well, but he's not he's not a coal miner. He's hosting Sports Jeopardy, and he's flying first class on a jet from Los Angeles to New York. That's not. I mean, he didn't drive back from LA. I mean, look, I give him credit for being a tough guy and not taking a day off and doing the right eye. But let's not act like he ran back from Los Angeles or was working on freeway construction over on the 405. He was hosting Sports Jeopardy.
Yeah, he walked
if you're
quite
peacefully. Hit those
peacefully.
buzzers too hard, you get tendonitis.
You could get a little problem there.
Yeah, he walked unobstructed to first class, so we're sorry about that. Coming up, we have a couple signal callers dropping by. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Box Score today. Joe Theisman joined the Dan Patrick Show today and seemed to backpedal on some recent comments he made about the Redskins quarterback sitch.
Who gives this team a better chance of winning for the entire season? Kirk Cousins or RG3?
I would say Robert does. Now, people are going to go, oh my goodness, Joe said this. This is why. The element that we haven't seen in preseason and the element that Robert brings is like Colin Kaepernick, is like Cam Newton. They have incredible abilities, and Russell Wilson, to make plays with their legs that nobody else has. There's no question Kurt has played and looked better. Robert continues to work hard in that frame, and I said it in the telecast. There's no competition here. That Robert Griffin III is the starting quarterback of the Washington Redskins.
I think you could see Dan like pulling up a paper and say, "Wait, did this headline say Theisman said
Did someone give me some
Cousins gives RG?" Because he basically said three things. He said RG3 gives him a better chance to win, but Cousins has outplayed him.
Yeah.
But RG3, I understand what he's saying. I actually listened to it again afterwards. He said that if you look at the preseason, yeah, Cousins has outplayed him, but if you look at the big picture, RG3 clearly has more talent and gives him a better chance
It's
to
just
win.
bizarre because it's all over the news and every headline and everything. That's the main reason we invited him on the show, about how he thinks Kirk Cousins
People were
should be
tweeting us
starting
links
over
to the
RG3.
broadcast, though, where he clearly says Cousins be the starter.
Yeah, but he was, it's one of those things where if you don't listen to the audio of what he has to say, he says should be the star the way he's played. Obviously, they're not going to go with him, but it is funny because it felt like he was not backpedaling, but clarifying, as we say, clarifying.
Paulie, does Theisman do this interview if he doesn't have comments to clarify?
No, we haven't called for Joe in a while, but there's a lot of people we don't call for until they do something that's worthy of being on the show.
Joe actually said it at the start, hey, Dan, it's been a long time.
It has been. I mean, but, Joe's kind of out there right now doing other stuff. He used to be a main mothership employee, and we used to have him on all the time. Back in the mothership, we had him on all the time. All the time. He would call in, hey, do you need me? He was actually really nice about that. He would check in sometimes with Fritz and just say, hey,
absolutely.
It's a Thursday. Do you guys need me at all? And it was very nice of him, very smart of Joe to do so. So I've always liked the guy. I'll tell you one thing about Joe Theisman. One time he was in studio, and my uncle, who a lot of people give Joe Theisman a hard time. They think he's cocky and this and that. I said, hey, Joe, I just want to let you know my uncle, you're his favorite football player of all time. He grew up watching Notre Dame when you were there. He goes, give me his address. I didn't even ask for an autograph. I gave the address. He sent an autographed, framed picture of himself to my uncle.
That's awesome.
Out of nowhere, out of his own pocket, on his own dime. And, that's Joe Theisman, too.
Paulie's uncle, you love me as much as I love myself. Another quarterback checked in today, and as usual, Dan got some amazing responses.
I don't know what that meant.
Can you imitate Bill Belichick?
Castle, I mean, what in the are we doing here? I mean, did you not see the 3 technique? I mean, are we going to have to send a letter to your mother about why you're in the hospital because you can't see a blitz coming? I mean, come on.
Do your Tom Brady impersonation.
Oh, I don't even know if my voice can go that high when he gets upset.
That high?
Yeah, what the? He gets like real high and starts screaming at people. Beautiful.
First of all, I had no idea that Matt Castle was so funny, total bro and like cool dude that I would totally hang with. Secondly, it's always been a big nut thing with me, but I've always noticed that the fine crew in LA, whenever they're doing pictures of the Danettes, usually picks like the worst, most embarrassing pictures for us to use when they're doing graphics, and sort of like all of a sudden our faces are like this and we look really stupid. It was nice to see Matt Castle got the same exact treatment, because that was the gnarliest picture I could see of a handsome dude ever. He sort of had this, and and he's a better looking guy than that. So it's nice to see that you guys are spreading around the wealth of crappy picture graphics.
Fritzy, you're an impression enthusiast. Are you? Go ahead, Fritzy.
Dan sometimes puts people on the spot and has them, sing or do some kind of impersonation or something that they're just not at all prepared to do. And so Castle, he pulled it off. And even if he didn't, it was cool that, he didn't hesitate. He knew that he wasn't going to get out of it without a Belichick.
But that screams former Patriot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember Welker all of a sudden? He was like, hey, yeah, we can talk.
Once you're outside the building, I think it's going to be the same thing here. Like, if someday we're on elsewhere, what are we going to talk about? I don't know, but we could probably joke a lot more than we joked when we were here with everyone else in the room. But like, if he was currently a Patriot, he would say like, well, it's just an honor to play for Bill Belichick, and I have nothing to imitate of him at all.
Fritzy, you're an impressionist. Are you more likely to root for Matt Castle now?
I absolutely am. I just like Seton was saying, I didn't realize he had that kind of personality, and was cool. We've had him on before, but it's been a while. And anyone that comes on the show and delivers and does a good job in the interview, how could you not root for him? If he's playing Denver, that's a whole other story. But I am a much bigger fan than ever of Matt Castle, and hope he has a strong season with the Vikings.
I don't know why you're complaining about that. If he was playing Denver, he was usually running for his life with the Chiefs. Stay with us. It's Emmy season. Up next on The Box Score.
McLovin takes nerd to a whole new level, and I know nerds. You're watching The Box Score on Audience, DirecTV, Channel 239.
Welcome back to The Box Score. Big cheers to friend of the Dan Patrick Show, Jim Parsons. Maybe doesn't know what The Box Score is, but we don't care. With the Emmys firing off last night, we wanted to know how much you know about the greatest winners of all time. So it's time to play the time-honored game, Know Your Emmys. This is our graphic. This is our graphic. This is our graphic. Okay. It's row versus row, and are there steals? Hell yes. Let's get started. First one goes to the front row. Last night, this performer won his first Emmy after 32 nominations. Who is he?
32 nominations.
So he's an elder
I know.
statesman.
I know.
See, this would have been a lot better if I'd watched the Emmys last night.
Right. I saw an old guy go up there.
Some type of old guy situation.
Voight.
John Voight?
I'm sorry, John Voight is incorrect. Back row, would you like to steal this?
I thought maybe Don Pardo. I know he recently passed. Maybe they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Any name.
Or something. Don Pardo. Who is? Do it to Don Pardo.
I'm Don Pardo. Good night.
Ellen Cleghorn, you both rows are wrong. It's actually Bill Maher is who we were looking for. Bill Maher. Back row to you.
They don't show that show enough on HBO.
Yeah, this show won a record 9 Emmys in its debut. What show was it?
This show won a record 9 Emmys in its debut.
Oh.
MASH?
Let's go with
Cheers?
No. ER? No. Would that have won 9 Emmys?
I don't think so. Our time is running up.
Let's go with Breaking Bad.
Okay, we're gonna say Breaking Bad.
I'm sorry, Breaking Bad is incorrect. Front row can steal this question.
Man, I feel like it's got to be Modern Family.
Modern Family.
I'm sorry, the show we were looking for was The West Wing. The new Jack West Wing.
The West Wing.
The front row is on the clock. Who is the only character to be nominated for an Emmy on 3 different shows? Character.
Oh, what's his name? You want to go Newhart?
I know I'm wrong.
Bob Newhart? I don't know. What other guy's been on the same, like, 3
Let's get an
different
answer.
shows?
How
on the
about
same
Andy
character?
Griffith?
All right, Andy Griffith is incorrect. Back row, you
Can we
can
try
steal.
to steal?
Yes, you
Okay,
can steal.
I doubt this is right, but we're going to go for it. From All in the Family and the Jeffersons and Amen, Sherman Hemsley.
As George Jefferson.
As George Jefferson.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's
Sherman Hemsley as
the
George
actor, but we were
Jefferson.
looking for the character, which was Dr. Fraser Crane. So Frasier, Cheers, and Wings
Cheers,
was the
Frasier.
third one. Back row, let's try this.
Wings.
This program
rough.
has won the most Emmys ever with 48. What is it? This program.
Is this a MASH All in the Family thing? Oh, 60 Minutes. Oh, yeah, program. They make it sound like it's not necessarily a sitcom.
60 Minutes or This Week in This. 60
Okay,
Minutes.
let's go 60 Minutes.
Sorry, 60 Minutes is incorrect. Front row, you can steal.
What about like a late show or
Ooh.
The Tonight Show?
The Tonight Show.
I'm sorry, Tonight Show is incorrect. We were looking for the Academy Awards. They love themselves.
Oh,
that's Academy Awards.
God.
Is this something that's really big out in Hollywood that you guys know the answers to this stuff? Or
What's going on here?
We're getting
Can you
crazy.
give us
Director
a
once
layup?
also
Is there a
scored a
chippy
film.
here?
How about
for us?
Mary Tyler Blank? Can we know something?
I know, man.
Can we work with us?
Who the hell knows this crap?
Hashtag
What
next
in the
question to the
family?
front row. He's the only person to have won Emmys in the same comedy series for writing, directing, and acting.
How about something here that suggests, how about George Clooney maybe in ER?
That's a good call.
Sorry, George Clooney and ER are both incorrect. Back row, you can steal.
Go for it. I can't hurt.
Let's go with, I don't think he wrote or directed.
All you had to do is
Other
write
than
one
that.
time and we can't.
We'll go with our favorite Dick Van Dyke.
Mary Poppins?
Is there Dick?
Mary Poppins?
Sorry, Dick is incorrect. We were looking for Alan Alda in MASH.
Oh, Alan Alda. Love Alan Alda.
I love Alan Alda. I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, boy.
Maybe sewed one back on
I
in
don't
a
think
very
Alan Alda
special
would have gotten
episode.
that question right.
All right, last but not least, back row. How many individual sports Emmys does Dan Patrick have?
Oh, snap.
Individual. It's either 2 or 4.
I was thinking 4 was my first.
Can we stand up and walk around and look?
Individual sports Emmys.
4? That was the first number that popped in my head.
Oh, man.
Let's say 4.
I got the steal on this.
I'm sorry, 4 is incorrect. Front row.
Individual, where it's just him as host, right? It's not a combo sports center thing. I think it's 1. I think it's like 1996. I'll go bonus.
I think Seaton's correct.
1?
Seaton is absolutely correct. He has 1 Emmy.
Boom!
Know your Dan.
Know your Emmys.
Front row, you have 1. Know your Emmys.
You stole it.
Congratulations. Still to come. The Danettes are in another movie, but it's 3 years too late, maybe?
What is this website that has stuff in here that's not true about us? Patrick and the Danettes, friends of Sandler's. Yeah, you guys aren't friends of Sandler's.
Not true.
Also appeared in the 2011 bomb Jack and Jill.
Bomb means it blew up. It was kick-ass.
You guys weren't in that movie.
We sure weren't.
Welcome back to the Box Score. Last call here at the Box Score Bar. Dan reading a movie preview for Adam Sandler's movie Pixels. They claim you guys are actually in the 2011 movie Jack and Jill. Fritzy, knowing how that movie turned out, are you actually glad you guys didn't get the call?
I would have liked it. I think I can speak for the rest of the guys. We know we're flattered to be asked. This is going to be our second time around coming up. We're heading to Toronto in a few days. As many times as the Sandman wants to work the Danettes in, I'm sure we'll answer the call. It's been very cool of him to try to work us in, even if it's just for a few seconds in the background. I think it's a big deal regardless of how successful the movie is. We'd like to be in them.
That being said, I'm telling you, Brock, I could predict what's going to happen this weekend. Last time we were extras, we were kind of what they call featured extras because we were right in the middle of the scene and we had certain direction that we were right on top of the principal actors. And they told us we're featured actors.
Awesome.
I have the feeling that in this scene we're going to shoot this weekend, we're going to be more background elements like a crowd, part of a crowd. And I have the feeling that one or more Danette will complain about that.
I also have a feeling one Danette will figure out a way to actually get in front of the crowd of the other Danettes. I wonder
The
who that will
only thing I
be.
knew the last time when we were shooting That's My Boy is I knew that Dan would obviously have a big role. I knew that Paul would be right next to him. So I knew actually that my best game plan was to always stick right next to the side of Paul, and it actually worked out really well.
It's a good
I got
plan.
a lot of airtime.
There is one part, if you watch the scene, we're going in to film the scene, and I'm right here with Seaton. I'm pointing like, film this, we're right on the screen.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like just being smart. Stay near Dan, stay near me. It all works together.
You did a nice move in that where you just sort of moved out from behind that one person, Paulie. Very nice. Seaton, if you could go back in time and
Yeah, a little
cameo
sidestep.
in any of these Adam Sandler films, which one would it be?
I think you got to go right back to the start or near start and do either Billy Madison or Happy Gilmore. I'm going to go Happy Gilmore.
I'm gonna go Funny People. There's a few scenes in the grocery store where Seth Rogen's character is talking to a guy he works at the meat counter with. I like to be the meat counter guy who works with Seth Rogen.
Isn't that
very good movie?
That's one of the Wu-Tang Clan, right?
One of the guys from Wu-Tang.
Oh,
Is that Reza?
Probably, yeah.
I want to go definitely back to Billy Madison. I want to play one of his friends. Norm Macdonald played this, and they were like 70% of the movie they were drunk and passed out on a float in the pool. I want to be one of the drunken friends from Billy Madison.
I got to just go with it. I think there's a scene where there's a waiter scene there in the restaurant. Something that would involve Brooklyn Decker and Jennifer Aniston and myself would be something I'd be looking for. I'd have to do a little more investigating as to what specifically that role would be. But even if it's for a few seconds with the ladies around me, that would be a nice little thing to save.
It'd be a sex scene, Fritzy. It'd have to be a sex scene. Fritzy, in your best Adam Sandler, who is on tomorrow?
Oh, we got the UCLA football coach there, Jim Mora. He's going to talk about the Pac-12. Speaking of the Pac-12 conference, we're going to have Rick Neuheisel, former UCLA coach. He's a good one. He's going to talk also about the college football season, which starts on Thursday. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Thank you, Fritzy. Thanks for watching The Box Score. Set your DVR or tune in weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern, only on Audience Channel 239. And cheers to Jim Parsons. Congrats, buddy.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer. My motto is simple: C's get degrees.
You need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you because I probably am.
Hey! Thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!